Hello, and welcome to Independent Talent, the most action-packed indie wrestling podcast on the entire fucking planet. If you're pregnant, have high blood pressure, or experience dizziness, then you've been warned, because your ear holes are about to be crammed full of the #1 local wrestling show in the Mid-South. Now, here's your host, hailing from parts unknown, Lemonjuice McGee.
Welcome back to another episode of Independent Talent, the best goddamn Mid-South coverage-related professional wrestling podcast you're probably going to find if you don't look very hard. I'm your host, Lemonjuice McGee, and with me tonight is the fighting man, Matt Pierce.
Rest in peace, Hot Rod.
And our resident wrestling historian, Hoagie Masters.
Always got to be on the show.
As Matt mentioned, sad week this week, extremely unexpected loss of Roddy Piper, legend in the wrestling business. I mean, it unexpected is like the exact. I mean, I think that's for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was on TMZ a few days before talking about the Hogan situation. Like, seemed just, but I mean, from what they say, cardiac arrest in his sleep. So, I mean, I guess maybe at least he went peacefully, I assume.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to go if you're going to go.
But it's definitely a blow to the wrestling community and really kind of to humanity as a whole, as he was an all-around like good guy.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, by all accounts, he was a great guy.
So it's definitely our thoughts are with his family and friends and colleagues that knew him, and bad stuff. This episode of Independent Talent, we're going to do a little bit like we did last time. We've got two Makin The Towns segments, as we're going to be covering SIWF show at the Pulaski County Fairgrounds that happened on July 23rd, and the August 1st Pro Wrestling Revolution show that featured Cliff Compton and Colt Cabana. We'll get back to the interviews and the stuff that goes on in some of our, like we've done in our previous episodes and some of our other segments. We've got a lot of segments that we had Cheyenne record that are hilariously dirty, and we just haven't had the time to use them yet. Some of them we don't even know what they're going to be, but we're going to get to them. However, it's summer. We've been hitting a lot of shows, and honestly, if we wait too long, I'm generally far too drunk to remember the outcomes of matches very far in the future. Even these we're talking about tonight, it's kind of a hazy mist already, so we can only do what we can do. We got a Gimmick Table segment tonight. We've not done one for a while, so we're going to play a little catch-up with some multiple gimmick stuff we're going to talk about. And at the end, we're going to talk about something we got to do that was pretty fucking cool in the last week or so, and how you can watch it on television. That's right. And we'll get to that at the end of the show. So for now, let's get into our first Makin The Towns.
Makin The Towns.
Oh, and this is the first of our Makin The Towns segment. This version of Makin The Towns was rather easy, as the show was SIWF at the Pulaski County Fairgrounds, which is in Somerset, which is where we're based out of. So, easy drive. It happened July 23rd, 2015. It was a Thursday night. It rained all motherfucking day, but thankfully by the afternoon the sun came out. However, with that came humidity and just pure sweat down there.
Intermingled with horrible wind blowing everything off our table.
Yes, incredible wind, lots of sweat, a few tears. It was
more than a few tears.
More than a few, yeah. I mean, what can you do? But it was a great night for wrestling. The crowd was pretty packed, which, granted, I mean, fair crowds are going to be. You get free admission, usually, to wrestling when you go into the fair. But a lot of these people seem to have come to the fair for the wrestling, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was a packed house. I mean, they had bleachers all around. I mean, at least 3/4 of them were full.
Yeah. Lots of gimmick tables, including ours. Highspots.com was there. Of course, all the wrestlers had their own tables. Like it, you know, there was lots for people to walk around and check out and buy before going to their bleacher seats and getting ready for the show. The cool thing is that at the Pulaski County Fairgrounds, they've got this trailer that is opened up front, and then it has like a rampway that comes out. Well, that rampway they use normally for like the beauty pageants and the pretty baby contest and all that stuff. Well, it just so happens that it is right at the correct height as the ring. So what you get is this ECW, early WCW style rampway that just goes straight to the ringside. So there's no climb up into the ring. You're like right at ground level, which is very cool. And I think it elevates the wrestlers literally to where when the crowd's looking at them, they're always up. Like it's pretty cool. The lighting's good in there. The audio sounds good. Speaking of audio, though, there was some ruining of the audio because it's the same damn night they chose to do
the lawnmower pulls.
Fucking lawnmower pulls, which are possibly the loudest thing in existence.
Yeah, which I have a story. Last year when we went, Shane Douglas was in attendance, and he was mesmerized by these lawnmower pulls.
Why wouldn't he be?
He was like, I've never seen something like this before. And he just wanted to stare at it.
Sounds like a million bushels of fucking hornets like at once. Just
I have a story from today. Not today. This year. A person, she asked me. She goes, "What's a lawnmower pull?" And I explained it to her, and she goes, "That's stupid. Why would anybody do that?" And I was like, "I don't know, but."
You know what? I mean, there were. I don't know what the comparison was of people in the stands for the lawnmower pulls as the people that were watching wrestling. I'm just going to hope in my heart of hearts that the wrestling bleachers were fuller.
Yeah.
I believe they were. I actually looked one time.
Because let's face it, if you go to a lawnmower pool, there's no such thing as a winner.
No.
There's no winners in that.
No. The crowd, everyone loses.
Yeah.
Everyone loses.
The people driving the lawnmowers, the people who tilled the earth.
The man who created the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Because there's no blades on those things.
Yeah.
No.
They're not mowing shit.
Bridge and Stratton are losers. Everybody. John Deere. It's horrible.
Anyways, back to the show. So, SIWF, they put on shows throughout the area, Kentucky, Tennessee, places that, at fairs, so usually they're more of a summer run federation.
I believe they do 4 shows a year.
They've already done more than that this year, I think.
They do the Clinton County Fair, Wayne County Fair, Placer County Fair, and the Barberville Fair.
Well, they're doing Broadhead, too.
Well, Broadhead, my bad on that one.
Well, maybe in just the 4. Well, but good crowds. They bring in good wrestlers, lots of like NWA guys, and especially on this show. This show is the big show.
Yeah.
This is kind of a like quote unquote like Legends of Wrestling show. Usually, like it's like showcases some bigger talent.
They've previously had Rocky Mountain guys, WWE guys, all kinds of guys.
But they managed to sprinkle it in with like last year they had like a guy who was just starting with TNA, and they have multiple. This year, really good roster. We're gonna get into some of that now. The first match on the card was Sexy Stan Sierra versus the Iron Man Rob Conway.
Yeah, Stan Sierra came out first, and he was really playing to the crowd, trying to get them riled up. I mean, just talking trash to him.
It doesn't take much for him to get the crowd riled up. He's got it down to a science.
Yeah. He's very good at that.
He says about 3 sentences, and people are ready to bite his face off.
Yeah. And then
thankfully, he's got his stick, Mr. Higgins, with him.
Yeah. But then Rob Conway came out wearing America.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Rob Conway was the embodiment of the United States of America.
It's like, in Ghostbusters 2 when the Statue of Liberty is just walking down, like, that's what Rob Conway was.
Yeah. It's the exact same stuff he wore when he was when we were watching him in New Japan recently. It's very much like I was taking photos ringside. He took the stuff off. I helped get it like out of the ring and out of the way. It's basically like leather and laces and stuff that he just straps around his body to create this shell of patriotism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not making fun of this. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And,
I legitimately thought he was wearing a flag.
I mean, he's in really good shape still.
Mm-hmm. And this is a good match to get things started off with because, I mean, the crowd there's going to be a few who, you always get the people there who are just come in off the fairgrounds, or the people who were drugged to the fair by people, and they're just like, oh, wrestling at the fair. And then they kick off with this. Two big guys going at it,
Yeah.
A lot of high-impact stuff. It was good. It was really good. Conway, obviously, the crowd favorite of the match.
Yes.
The ladies particularly enjoyed Rob Conway, and his buttocks, according to what I heard, screamed over my shoulder the entire match by, well, some fairly gross individuals.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
Yeah, I would imagine.
There weren't a lot of lookers in the general area of the crowd. Conway won the match. Stan Sierra's evil deeds were not rewarded on this day, but it gets the crowd going.
Yeah.
Everything going. Face goes over. Good stuff. We go from there to Cadillac Cowboy, Steve Burns, coming out with the first of what I would consider a legend. Like Rob Conway, I consider a current guy. I mean, he was just recently NWA champion.
Yeah.
Lost it to Tenzin in New Japan. Which, I mean, if you're going to lose the NWA belt, losing to New Japan, I mean, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But the first of, I consider, the legend, the guys that are a little bit past, well, a little bit or a lot, past, their prime wrestling days, is Dr. Tom Pritchard. We saw at the last SIWF show we covered, Clinton County Fair. Yep. We saw him wrestle Sigmund there. Tonight's him versus the Cadillac Cowboy. Went pretty much the same as the previous match went. A lot of fundamentals.
Yeah.
A lot of,
That's the thing about Dr. Tom. I mean, you're not getting a phoned-in match. You're getting, full-on good match with Dr. Tom. He's not one of these legends that, kind of rides their reputation. He's not
one of those guys who comes out and just cuts a catchphrase. He comes out there to wrestle.
Yeah. I mean, Steve Burns, he's a really good wrestler also. I've watched him for a couple years at these shows that they do and everything. And I think he had their United States Championship for just a short period not too long ago. And
the Cadillac Cowboy came out on top through devious tactics. And of course, then Pritchard's in the ring, and the people cheer for him, and he gets his hand raised, and everybody cheers. But I mean, Tom Pritchard, he's one of those too. Even here, where the wrestling crowd was a little more aware of stuff, I was talking to a guy about it while it was happening. It's how many of these people know who Tom Pritchard is? And the people who do, I mean, I'm sure there are people who know.
Yeah.
But how many of them actually know, what he's worth to wrestling in general? You know, all the people that he's...
People he's trained.
Yeah, that he's made what they are. He's a great talent. It's good to see him. It's good to see him still going. And he doesn't phone it in. No.
He's 100% just there, and he goes.
Yeah, he was getting tossed around the ring. He wasn't taking shortcuts, And then next up we have JD Thunder, perennial SIWF US champion, semi-local guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lover of the Confederate flag.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah,
and Kid Rock.
He usually always wears that Confederate flag to the ring.
Yeah, he wore the jacket this time. And the thing is, JD Thunder's possibly one of the most topical local wrestlers now.
Yeah.
Thanks to the controversy of the Confederate flag, which
true.
Which is what it is. He went up against George South.
Yeah.
George South, definitely one of the legends of the show. George South, I guess his biggest claim to fame is I guess kind of being beaten by every single person.
I guess, yeah.
That was popular during the 1980s.
Wasn't he a promoter also at one time?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If I remember hearing correctly.
Yeah. But that's the thing. He's, while losing to people, it's funny that's what he's known for. But at the same time, he's been in the ring with every single
big name guy,
big name,
he's been around for a
WWE,
long time.
WCW superstar that exists. he's probably wrestled them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for good or bad. He's probably taken a tombstone, you know?
He's probably taking maybe he's wrestled Ric Flair. Ric Flair made him like $1 million. You know he did. So
Oh, yeah.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they go at it. George South, really good at pissing off the crowd.
yeah.
He just right on it. Very quick-witted to make fun of the looks of the female members of the crowd, which I thought is a good go-to.
Do go to kind of a cheap, I guess the opposite of a cheap pop.
It was cheap because it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very easy.
Yeah.
Because of the aforementioned grossness. But you weren't all gross, ladies. But there was a contingent.
Yeah.
But JD Thunder, I mean, yeah, he's kept that belt. I mean, he's lost it at one point, but he's kept it for the most part. Their U.S. title.
I remember him being U.S. champion a long time ago.
Yeah.
For the fair show.
I going back to Steve Burns, I remember it was either last year or the year before. JD lost it, I believe at the Clinton County show, but then got it back at the Wayne County show. Yeah.
He lost it on a Friday, got back on a Monday.
Yeah.
That's the way to be. So, I mean, this was good back and forth. George South, you could tell, didn't quite have maybe the ring ability like Pritchard had as far as movement and doing stuff goes. So it was a lot more. There was a lot more relying on gimmicks and fussing at the crowd and doing stuff in this. Right. So rightfully so, JD Thunder, of course, picked up the win. You know,
but that's the cool sort of point of these shows too. I mean, you see like guys who don't need to talk as much. You see guys who talk more, and you know that's how they get over it. It's just a grab bag sort of.
You got to mix, and I mean, and the thing is, like that match was sandwiched in a way between. It's like they had the Rob Conway Stan Sierra match, which is pretty action oriented, big moves. Then you have the next two that are a little more down paced, and then you got this one. Which was the Heartbreakers, the Loverboy Brock Landers, and the Voodoo Child Stevie P going up against the Bad Boys Club, made up of Shane Andrews and Nick Taylor.
Yep.
And Heartbreakers, the good guys in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come out, they were the crowd favorites because they're the hometown boys. Mm-hmm. So, to a point, kind of.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, this was what you'd want. I mean, there was lots of the usual comedy, you know, in the beginning and on through. But then it gets to the smash mouth, you know, going at it when the time comes.
It was a very, very good tag team match.
Yeah. The Bad Boys Club, I had not seen in action.
I hadn't either.
It was. Shane Andrews, I was aware of through some singles stuff. But this is the first time I'd seen them, and they worked really well as a team. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it... yeah, I mean, both teams were on it. I mean, there was a huge Heartbreakers contingent in the crowd.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Lots of Life as a Work shirts. And the Heartbreakers went over clean.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's, yeah. I mean, and it was good. It got the crowd back into the wrestling. It's fast-paced, you know.
Yeah.
It was a good match. Following that up by one, he's becoming one of my favorite indie wrestlers around here is Lennox Norris facing Menace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very impressed by Lennox.
Mm-hmm. Was it your first? It was your first
It
time
was
seeing him?
the first time I got to see him. Yeah.
We had seen him at Pro Wrestling Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and he impressed me a lot there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in Menace we'd seen there also.
Yeah.
And you know we'd seen Menace a couple other fair show.
Yeah. Menace is usually on the SIWF cards for the most part. Yeah. And yeah, they went at it. They went at it in the type of match that, you know, I enjoy in that Ring of Honor type of, like, you know.
Yeah. Well,
go type matches.
Yeah, well, that's what both these guys are too. They're go guys. You know, it's like Menace. You always gonna get high impact, you know, high velocity. Lennox Norris.
Lennox Norris, he doesn't waste moves.
No.
Yeah. Everything's, yeah.
No, this guy has the look. He jaws with the crowd when he needs to. And he backs up in the ring, too. Lennox Norris is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he backed it up this night as Lennox Norris took Menace out.
Yeah.
So, they had there weren't a lot of intermissions in this, which is smart because when you have intermissions at the fair, well, people are going to find themselves on a ride and not come back.
Yeah.
So you want to keep them captive as much as you can. None of these matches were too overly long. So I think that kept people from getting too, and that's a good thing too. Is once the guys got to the back, they were pretty much announcing the next match.
Yeah, and this is a good break up of pace, like fast, slow sort of thing. And people are getting bored with it too.
Yeah. One other thing I will mention that I love about the fair shows is that there's actual metal guardrails around the ring.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah, and people running up to those guardrails and beating on them. Yeah,
it makes me feel way safer. Well, I mean, and just for the fact that some of these people get a little crazed, and I have my back to them when I'm taking photos.
Crazy, yeah.
And so
we've seen it happen.
And there was an older gentleman there, who I remember, who the year before had taken his belt off.
Yeah.
And was swinging his belt as
he
the
gets
wrestlers.
really into it every year.
And then gave his belt to a little girl so she could swing the belt. So his hands were free so he could double flip the bird at everyone. This time at the show, he was just double flipping the bird. Maybe the year had taken a toll on him. He just couldn't get his belt off. I don't know.
Maybe he switched to suspenders. You know, it's hard to swing those.
But he was very much yelling "fuck you" and flipping the double finger at everyone who looked his way.
Yeah,
good or bad, didn't matter. Fuck them is what his thought were.
Yeah, which is like,
which really, he's there to enjoy wrestling. What better way to enjoy it
than by hating it?
Than the fact that you can just cuss people out and like
they can't do anything to you.
Part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, this next match featured somebody who I was not aware of, who maybe has one of my new favorite gimmicks. This is the Bad Scout, Jake Manning.
Oh yeah, this guy.
He is he's kind of a scout leader, but sort of still a scout. I don't know what the deal is there.
Well, he comes out and he has the handbook.
Yes.
And he reads it. He just scouts the honor thing.
Mm-hmm. He's wearing the uniform. He's got the khaki shorts up his ass.
Yep. The drill sergeant cap.
Yep. And then he strips off to a tank top and it's got the scout like hand logo on his chest, you know, and it's all the green and red, like everything like the knee pads are green and red, everything all of his gear matches, all of his gear looks good. It's like what his gears is good, and it's what the WWE would give somebody if they gave him that gimmick.
Yeah.
Like he looks the part of that character to a T.
Yeah.
He's shaved bald, like broom handle mustache.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he's screaming at the crowd, like, you know, and he's reading. And he faced Gunner, who people will know from TNA, recently left there.
Yeah.
Gunner's a big fucking dude.
Gunner is huge.
He's in tremendous shape.
Yep.
Yeah. So these two go at it, and there's a little bit of comedy in there from Jake Manning and from Gunner.
Gunner was taking the scout manual and wanting to throw it to the crowd.
Yeah, and he said, and like.
He said and read it.
Yeah, the Bad Scout would like they'd be starting to lock up, and he'd be like, no, hang on, and he'd like go get his manual and sit in the corner and like read it, and then eventually Gunner went and grabbed it, and he was freaking out that Gunner was touching it. And, then they got into the wrestling, and then it got physical pretty quick. It ended up spilling out to the outside for a while. Gunner took a shot into the corner post. Mm-hmm. Made it in before the 10 count. Kept going from there. Eventually, Gunner took it by, I mean, I guess the only way to describe it is like he Goldberged him. like he picked him straight up like a goddamn nail and held him there forever, like he weighed nothing.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, Gunner was quite a bit larger than this guy.
Yeah. But this guy wasn't super small. I mean, they were. No. It's just Gunner's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Bad Scout, I love it, man. Like, I think it's just the coolest shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool gimmick.
Like, it's a good idea. Like, it pushes buttons, but you don't even know why it's pushing your buttons when it's pushing your buttons.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Honestly,
awesome.
I could see him going over really big into, like, Chikara.
Yeah.
Or something like a promotion like that.
Mm.
Yeah, so Gunner took that one. Next up, we had the semi-main event, dual main event,
I guess dual main event.
Yeah, co-main event.
They had a couple stars that were kind of on the same level that they, you know. And when it came to people coming to, when it came to the amount of fans who came to see him, this guy was the main event.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
Formerly of the NWO, formerly of
the American Males.
Formerly of a Showtime Gigolo show. Formerly of possibly the worst main event in Monday Night Raw history.
Also, maybe the worst main event in Monday Night Nitro history.
Possibly.
Or the worst opening match, yeah.
But, I'll tell you what, man. Everybody there to see that dude.
It's
and
true.
he was super nice to everybody.
And he was there promoting a documentary he's getting ready to come out with called The Good, the Bad, and the Buff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And apparently it's going to be pretty good stuff. They talked to us a little bit about it. Like I know Nigel McGuinness is hosting it. Like he's interviewing Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
And then it'll cut in with like scenes of home movies and stuff like that as they're doing the interview. And his manager's saying like Buff doesn't like stray away from like any bad shit he's done in his life. Like it's basically a shoot on like everything he's done, but not just wrestling related, just in life in general. And I mean, let's face it, outside of wrestling, the guy's been living a pretty interesting lifestyle. So
very, very true.
I mean, people know who he is, and it's not just for wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this for him. He had time for everybody who wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, dude.
That's
everybody.
very true.
Yep. It didn't matter who it was. He would take time to talk to him.
Yep. Picks with everybody. Super nice dude. Smile on his face the whole time. He went up on this night against Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, who we've seen quite a bit lately. He's one of the guys we like. He's definitely his general type of match he does isn't the type that I don't know how you'd say it without sounding like a complete cunt. He doesn't do the type of matches that stupid fans like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's generally one of those guys that likes to go and do all the spots and do all the stuff and lots of false finishes and
has a cool unique finish.
Yeah, and they do lots of false finishes. You know, he'll go for a long amount of time and just put himself through the ringer, and a lot of times that wears on the crowd. You know, but it's I don't know. It's I mean, he needs to know the crowd that he's going for, but then again, the crowd is fuck those people. You know, like
I mean. You got the fan base split. You got some want to come just watch a quick match, you know, people playing to the crowd. Then you got Jordan Cage, who's there for the hardcore wrestling fan.
Yeah.
That loves a good technical match.
It's like you got people like, oh, wrestling's on, I want a hot dog. But then you also got people like, oh, wrestling's on, fuck your hot dog. I want to watch wrestling, you know? Like,
yeah. Jordan Cage definitely fits more into that, you know, like fans of the actual act of wrestling are being into. Which does make it a little weird. I mean, it worked well for as far as character-wise goes, playing off of Buff.
Yeah. Buff even got the Princess chat going.
Jordan Cage said he was the new stuff or whatever, and because, oh man, it just sounds like semen every time they're talking about that stuff. So, however, as far as wrestling types go, it was kind of a weird mix of that.
Yeah.
It's definitely not Jordan's normal type of match that we've seen him at.
Yeah, Jordan's more of like a technical sort of guy. Yeah. And then Buff's more like just a power wrestler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an interesting mix, but that kind of mix If you don't do it right, it doesn't mesh.
Basically, the crowd wanted to see Buff Bagwell beat somebody's ass, and that's what they got to see.
That's what you got to say, yeah.
And that's pretty much what I thought was awesome is that in the corner, normally the guys take off their gear and put it in the corner, and the security takes it away. Well, they bring out a towel. Buff takes his stuff off. He puts his hat, his glasses, his bottle of water, all in the corner of the ring. It just stays. He's like, fuck it. Beats Jordan Cage's ass, throws him out of the ring, gets his towel, wipes his face, gets a drink, gets back in there, beats his ass some more, gets a towel, wipes his like.
Yeah.
And the crowd got what they wanted. And after it was over, he got on the mic, thanked the fans for coming. We can't do this without you, which is true. I mean, nobody's gonna pay to have wrestling at the fair if people aren't sitting in those bleachers,
It's true.
And such a good speech to the fans, thanking them for coming, that they thought it was over, and a shitload of them left when he went to the back.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
A lot of them.
Which, to Buff's credit, most wrestlers after their match, they go back to the locker room, whatever.
Yeah.
I think he may went to the back for this like a minute, and then was right back at his gimmick table.
I think he went to the back line to put a shirt on.
Yeah, and then he went. Yeah, and the thing is, I could see them doing that because, I could see them saying, he was the main event. Like, it wasn't like, this third match in, he said that, and it's over,
Yeah.
But it wasn't over. As Sean Schultz, the SIWF World Champion and the newly crowned NWA TV champ, took on former WWE star and, awesome luchador, Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was a wrestling match.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
This is easily the most the technically best match in the card.
Yeah, it was good stuff. A little quick side story is that, the ref's going to hold up his world title. Well, Schultz has 2 belts. So as he's going to hold up the SIWF world title to show it off, he's got the NWA TV title. Well, I'm the closest one to the ring, so he hands me the NWA TV title. And while it's like, here's this, hold it, and I understand that it's a prop that is, just used for. It was pretty fucking cool to hold that belt.
Were you tempted to run?
I was very tempted to run. I feel like the belt was so sweat covered though that it would have slipped out of my hands. I would have fallen on the concrete. It'd have been a hole. It'd have been a mess. I wouldn't have escaped.
Sean Schultz would have beaten you up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have escaped.
Yeah. He would have beaten the hell out of you probably.
Snake in the grass.
Ricardo Rodriguez might have beaten you up.
That's a possibility too. I won't put it past any of them. I'm pretty sure I was safe from the security guys, but the actual wrestlers, yes, I've got a problem. But yeah, this was actually announced as being for both titles.
Yeah.
So if Ricardo won this, it would be he'd be NWA title champ, which is actually kind of believable that it could be for it makes it believable enough that it could be for both because Ricardo's such a big name that you could see, he's NWA TV champion. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So while there wasn't much doubt in my head that Schultz was going to take this, as he's been the champ 4 years running, it would make sense if they did that. But it'd be weird to lose the NWA TV title not on TV.
Yeah.
So.
I know. I follow Sean Schultz on Facebook, and he's been talking about different towns he's gone to, and every place he goes, he's defending that TV title.
Yeah.
It's fighting champions. What you get?
This match was good. It was really good. It sucks that some of the crowd had filtered out by this point because they missed some really good stuff. I know there's a spot you liked.
Oh yeah, Sean Schultz done this thing I've never seen before. He hit a DDT on the bottom turnbuckle. He had Ricardo in the corner, and he gets him he's going to DDT him, and just drops it and hits the DDT.
Yeah.
Ricardo's head on the turnbuckle. It was awesome.
Ricardo did an amazing dive through the ropes.
Yeah. He was tossed to the outside onto the ramp, and Schultz is in there celebrating. And Schultz, it's not like Schultz isn't against the ropes where the rampway is. He's, I would say, over halfway across the ring.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, about 3/4. Like, he was far enough away from the ramp that you almost wouldn't think it was possible as much. When you see Ricardo, like, you wouldn't, but the guy he's a wrestler. Like, he was a WWE, but he was a wrestler. He just didn't do that there.
Yeah.
Ricardo stands up and takes off running down the rampway. And mind you, remember, this is directly parallel with the ring. Like, the ramp isn't actually angled at all. He runs and just leaps, just horizontally through the between the top and middle rope, and just spears the shit out of Shawn Schultz. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't enough.
No.
It wasn't enough. Schultz beat him clean, middle of the ring with his finish, and that was it. Mr. Everybody Knows, still SIWF champion. And they're not on the card. After that, most of the guys went back to their tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Conway did.
Yep.
And
I think Buff was out there.
I think Gunner was there for a minute.
Yeah. Gunner was out there because I talked to him then. Yeah. There were a few out there, and they were taking photos with the fans. Because, I mean, that always helps, because if you have people there who don't know who you are after seeing you in a match, then,
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was good. Like, when we packed up our table and were leaving, and Buff and Rob Conway and them were still there, like, greeting fans. I mean, they weren't pushing people aside or going, okay, I want to get to you. No, they were just talking to whoever was there for as long as they wanted to talk, and then going to the next guy, and, like,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a really good group of wrestlers as far as, I guess, customer service goes. This time,
I guess so, yeah. Because, I mean, you sometimes you go, and then the guys will have the match and leave. That happens a lot. Yeah. But these guys, I guess they understood. Well, what Buff said, without the fans, there's no point in him even doing it. So,
yeah.
And I like, this year especially, but I like how this show, it's built as a legend show. But the way they use the legends, they don't just have the legends come out and win. Like they pepper the legends throughout.
And usually the legends accent the talent that's still going.
Yeah.
It worked out. Like, Buff beat Jordan Cage.
Yeah.
But not...
He didn't destroy him.
Yeah. And now Jordan Cage can be like, wrestle Buff Bagwell. Like, So...
Well, Shawn Schultz wrestled Ricardo Rodriguez. And Shawn Schultz, though, is... almost that level anyway, at least with talent and exposure in Tennessee, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which he did the TNA gut check one time.
Yeah. And
he's also made, not really wrestled on WWE, but he's made appearances.
Yeah, he's a
like
security and
things like
people,
that.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about Schultz before on the show a few times. Like, he's up there.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That was SIWF show.
Making the Towns.
Making the Towns.
Yeah.
For Pulaski County Fairgrounds, July 23rd, 2015. I think we covered everything.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, there you go.
There you go.
We sold some shirts. We had a good time. Whatever.
Nothing.
Time to work.
Nothing means nothing.
The Gimmick
Nothing
Table.
means nothing. What do you mean by that?
Well, this is the part of the show where we take a look at what we find on the gimmick tables. Gimmick tables, if you're not aware, when you go into a wrestling show, particularly an independent event, you're going to find a number of tables lined up with people at them selling their wares, whether that be loose action figures, random Dollar Tree merchandise, used tampons, wrestling masks, shirts, condoms, whatever you may find. It depends on where you're seeing wrestling at. We've been to some pretty shady spots, but we've been to some good ones as well.
Yeah.
And we've not done this segment for a while, so we're going to instead of talking about one item, which usually we talk about, tonight we're going to talk about 3 items, 3 different T-shirts from 3 different organizations / wrestlers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
First up, let's talk about WCCW.
Yeah, we recently went to WCCW event, as we talked about in the previous show, and picked up a shirt, Wildcat Championship Wrestling, Lawrenceburg. It's a pretty basic shirt. It's pretty comfortable, and they have them in variety of blue, and they have like a neon green, Has the
Yours
lockout.
is bright as fuck.
Bright as fuck yellow, yeah.
Yeah, it'll burn your eyes out.
Yeah. And it has their logo on the front. Mm-hmm. And the back of it has their address.
Yeah, which is, it's funny because it's 101 Hilltop
Yeah.
in Lawrenceburg, because they're constantly in that same address.
Yeah.
It has become almost like their catchphrase.
Yeah.
101 Hilltop. Like it's an easy. I don't know. Like that's generally what they post up, and it works. Google Map it, like it takes you right there.
Yeah. And it's kind of strange that it's on there, but like you said, it's kind of a catchphrase. And also, a lot of people come from elsewhere to see the show.
Yeah.
So they're advertising that way, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you say, they have a show. I think they're going back to weekly soon. Mm-hmm. They have it at the same venue every time. Like,
Yeah.
it works
And they have the shirts in a variety of sizes. And like I said, different colors.
Lots of neon.
Yeah, lots of neon.
Lots of neon. Which works good if you're having like a blacklight party.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're riding your bicycle at night.
Yeah, or if you get dressed in the dark and you're looking for your shirt.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to camouflage yourself, like in some type of neon situation.
Or if you're trying to make an 80s music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could populate a place with WCCW shirts if you're making an 80s music video.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe that's what they should do.
Maybe.
Have all the wrestlers come out.
Now, don't be giving away these ideas. People wait for this shit.
But I mean, the shirt's comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's comfortable. It gets the point across. It's an organization shirt, so it doesn't really have a catchphrase, but it kind of does because it has the address. It's a pretty straightforward shirt.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about non-organization for a minute.
Okay.
You recently got a wrestling shirt.
Yeah, got a shirt from Trash Can Graham.
Trash Can Graham, who we've actually interviewed on our tag team partner podcast, Developmental Talent.
Yep. Pretty cool shirt. It's got his logo on it, which is like a monster coming out of a trash can. Mm-hmm. And it says, to beat a man, you gotta beat the can. You know, it's a pretty cool shirt.
Yeah. Can with a K.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can with a K. It is a monster kind of a trash can. It is not Oscar the Grouch style. It's much more ferocious.
Yeah, it's got like bloody fingers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a pretty cool shirt. I mean, I wear it around, and people all the time, it gets the job done. People all the time asking me what it's for. Mm-hmm. So, I explain to them.
How do you answer?
It's Trash Can Graham shirt.
And they're like, "Who the fuck is Trash Can Graham?"
And then I hit them with a trash can.
There you go. You catch them with it. Like, oh, it's got a sharp edge on it, and then bleeding out their neck. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I recently picked up a shirt at Pro Wrestling Revolution show on August 1st. It is the actual Pro Wrestling Revolution shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm excited they got one. I like to get one at the promotions we go to. It has their logo, which is sort of like a fist signifying revolution. Generally, the type of revolution you get only from violence. I don't know if that's what they're promoting or not. It seems like that's the wrong type of people you want when you want people to actually pay to get your show. But in my mind, my shirt is suggesting that I violently rise up against the man, whoever the man may be. I don't know. But it's got the logo on the front. It's got Join the Revolution written on the back. I like the design. It's sort of tattoo-like, which I'm down for. Yeah. Classic style with the scrolls and whatnot. It's on black t-shirt, regular thickness, not too hot, not too thin. I don't know. It's a fucking t-shirt. But I will say that the ink on it is very pliable, so it's not like I've got this big stiff board of fucking ink on my chest that like is wavy when I move. It forms to my body, which is sexy for all the ladies or guys, or it's really whoever wants to look. But good shirt.
Yeah, good shirt.
And they have these at the show. They have them in every size. They have a number of... Actually, they have quite a bit of stuff they were selling at the last show. Mm-hmm. As far as like noisemakers, stickers. They got a wide variety of product now that they're starting to get in for their shows. I mean, it's like the third show they had. These shirts, though, top notch. I'll wear it often. It's black, which is apparently the favorite color of all wrestling companies and rock bands and
is it neon
comic
black?
lovers. It is neon black, but You could tell if, we were in the dark.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because I got a neon green shirt.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is we got some new T-shirts.
Yeah.
They're made of cloth and you wear them.
It's true. And they have words and sayings on them.
They've got shit on them.
Yep.
Yes. And one of them is actually neon yellow. So there's the thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Trash Can Graham, you can find him on Facebook. He actually has a page that you can like an official wrestler athlete page, which is cool.
Yeah.
Easy to get a hold of him. I'm sure you can get a hold of him through shirts that way, and he'll hook you right up. Or you can see him at Swag in, I guess,
Tennessee.
Eastern Kentucky or Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then in Kentucky Zone Wrestling in Shotville, second Saturday of every month. He'll be there. Usually he's got shirts. If he doesn't have the size you want, he'll get them in for you.
Pretty cool guy.
As far as WCCW, they've got tons of shirts there. Mm-hmm. You'll probably find one that fits. If you don't, they'll probably make more. We don't know their ways. It's probably how it works. Pro Wrestling Revolution just got these shirts. So right now they've probably got a few, but you want to hop on these because they're actually pretty badass looking shirts, and they're probably going to sell them out quick.
Yeah.
But being a wrestling organization, they're probably going to have them. However, their shows are not quite monthly, so if you don't pick one up at a show, you're going to have to hunt one down, and I'm sure there are people that can hook you up on that. A quick way to find out, I think they tell you in an advertisement during their weekly television show on WBOZ in London that you can also watch anywhere in the world on your Roku. All you got to do is get on WBOZ's website, WBOZ Channel 9 in London, and you click on the Roku picture they have. I don't know. The website looks kind of grad. It's kind of shitty. But there's a picture of Roku. You click on it. It goes to your Roku account. You punch in your info. It'll pop the channel up on your Roku in about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can watch Pro Wrestling Revolution, all the episodes, and listen to Brian tell you how to buy their stuff. And that's it for this week's Gimmick Table.
Makin The Towns.
Oh, you heard that right. This is the second Making the Towns segment for this episode. In the last Making the Towns segment, where we covered SIWF, I totally screwed the pooch. I fucked up. We were talking about the bad scout Jake Manning and how awesome he was and how great his gimmick was. Well, it turns out he is the man scout Jake Manning, which makes way more sense. His last name's Manning, man scout. I'm an idiot. Regardless, let's get into this show. Lemonjuice McGee here with Durbin. We had recently attended Pro Wrestling Revolution at the London Optimist Club on August the 1st. It was a Saturday.
Yeah. Always great to be back, and always great to, so far, visit their shows. Been great stuff so far.
It has. We, well, you were on the episode where we talked Pro Wrestling Revolution the last time.
Yep, I was on for their June show, and this bi-monthly company seems to be figuring out their formula, and it's working for them. Yeah,
I mean, it's I'll say the Optimist Club, I didn't know what to expect from the building. I know they had a show there before, I guess. I unfortunately wasn't able to go to it. I went to this one. That place is nice.
The Optimist Club is a building I hadn't been to either, but honestly, compared with several of the places I've seen in this area, this might be one of my favorite venues to go to whenever I see a card come up.
Yeah, it's very nice. I'd say probably it's one of the nicest places I've seen wrestling in. Really, period, next to like an arena.
Yeah,
I mean, even when we went to Nashville to see Ring of Honor, that place is a shithole compared to the Optimist Club.
True. I mean, even if you couldn't get those ringside seats, and they were putting out additional rows for it at the show, those bleachers were also all had a great angle on the ring. Yeah, they were right there, and that's the thing too. Yeah, they had set out so many rows on two sides of the ring. There was room to put out extra rows of chairs, and they did. They ended up with, I think it was 6 or 7 rows of chairs. 2 to 3 of those added after people kept coming in and kept coming in and kept coming in. Like, it was a great crowd. I mean, I think it was the
probably the response they were looking for, considering that they'd pumped the card so much. They were on WYMT, all over the internet, and for the fact that the big draw was Colt Cabana and Cliff Compton going to be at the show, and we'll get to them. Well, right now, kind of.
Yep.
Show kicked off, and Aaron Rose, the announcer, fantastic announcer. We're probably gonna have him on an upcoming show, shooting the shit with us. Went to the ring with Brian Wagner to make some announcements.
Sort of set the tone of the evening, let us know sort of everything we had in store, and to be honest, some of the stuff you couldn't fit on the poster that they came out and announced for, so it was really nice to have that segment just to let all those people that maybe only saw the posters know what was coming that night.
Yeah. Or the people who were like, well, I'm going to stick around for Cliff and Colt and then be on my way. And it's like, well, no, there's some other stuff down the line that's well worth, sticking around for. Colt and Cliff come out. The people get excited. We saw Colt Cabana in Somerset last year for SIWF. There were maybe 5 people who knew who he was. Not the best crowd reaction. Plus, it was super late when he went on. This was much more what I think everybody was hoping for.
He definitely got the hero's welcome, rightfully so. And it was nice just to be able to see that this crowd was going to be lively. Because for me, I get into a show so much more whenever the crowd's into it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by far. Yeah, everybody sit on their hands and not, but you were talking about something interesting when I arrived at the show, before we set up the sweet merch table that, if you hit up a show that we're at, you can buy some of our stuff. Justin was telling me that it was interesting seeing the way that the crowd of fans was kind of dividing up outside.
Yeah, I actually got to the Optimist Club before the doors opened, and so while I was just sort of sitting around waiting for the doors to open, fans were piling in, waiting for these doors to open, but yet they were coming in camps. You had your diehard independent wrestling, they travel this area to go to all the shows, fans, and they were grouping together, talking about the matches they were excited for. A lot of Life is a Work shirts in that camp. And then you had your Cabana and Compton camp that they came because they saw who was advertised on this card, and they were all huddling together. And it was almost, the two sides really weren't associating with each other, so I knew there was a great chance that we were going to have some back and forth, great dichotomy in the crowd cheering.
Yeah, and I said, first of the show, Colt and Cliff come out, a lot of cheers. Quickly broken up by the entrance of the Heartbreakers, the Loverboy Brock Landers, the Voodoo Child Stevie Phillips, and their manager Michael Lovely, coming out to, basically let them know that London was their town and it was their territory and that they were infringing upon them. And then a tag match was made.
Yes, through some shenanigans and some patchwork legal work.
Yeah.
This turned instead of being 2 singles matches, quickly into a tag match in which the Heartbreakers sort of fit more of their build, more of their domain. Because it was their town, they should have just played by their rules.
Yeah. It's it kicked off. It was a good segment to kick things off, and once they set that up for later, then we get into the first amount of action. Mm-hmm. And it was Menace versus John Noble. John Noble, very well known in Mid-South area right now, especially towards Hazard, place like that. Menace, a Pro Wrestling Revolution regular, also SIWF regular. He's regular in Tennessee. He's everywhere. And I felt like they were a good combination of styles. Mm-hmm. Menace is really quick, really on it. John Noble is a little more of a powerhouse. There's a lot going for him there. Wild Bill was the referee for most of the night, who we've seen at KZW and a few other places. Great guy, great ref.
definitely one of the workhorses of the night, just because of how many matches he had.
Yeah. The speed of Menace maybe was a little too much for him at times.
Yes. Yeah, you could tell. I'm not sure he was exactly expecting that, because when you look at Menace, you don't necessarily see the type of... You wouldn't project this is going to be your speed guy. Because he looks like he would go right with Noble in power versus power, but no, that speed came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Menace and Noble both took it to each other. The crowd was into the match the whole time. I mean, both of them have pretty big fan followings.
Mm-hmm.
John Noble is I believe he's not really, I guess more local to the London area, to the Eastern Kentucky area. He's a high school football coach, and so he's well known. Menace is just becoming more and more well known just for the good matches he's been putting on. And
we can't forget, if you go back to who headlined the June show for PWR, or Pro Wrestling Revolution, Menace was part of that headlining match.
Yeah.
And so going from headlining to being the person to set up the tone for the night, definitely growing to his fan base in the area.
Yeah. Pro Wrestling Revolution, I feel like they're still figuring out, I guess, like their main roster.
Mm-hmm.
And Menace is definitely on that, for sure.
Yeah.
Menace managed to take the win. Hit a big moonsault, its finisher, all the stuff. Took out Noble. That match ended. Quick wraparound, Aaron Rose on the card, announcing. It was a triple threat match between Jeremiah Plunkett, Brandon Taggart, the All-American Brandon Taggart. I don't know. Like, his gimmick is he loves America.
He loves America and will run for president when he's old enough.
Yeah. Just got to wait till 35, I guess. And then one of our favorites here on the show, Lennox Norris, who we've seen quite a bit of lately, and we are always thrilled by. Their match kicked off with Brandon Taggart getting his shit kicked in by both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Plunkett and Norris taking turns and enjoy beating up Brandon Taggart so much that they were interfering with each other, and then they were getting into fights because they were wanting to both beat him up so badly. Which I feel like for Brandon Taggart is the opposite of the situation you want to be in.
Well, if nothing else, I guess it's a life lesson that he can use for politics later.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Normally when Taggart comes out, he gets some booze.
Mm-hmm.
He gets some booze. Because anytime you're that over-the-top good guy, people think you're just being an asshole. And so they boo you. But I'll tell you, in this match, maybe it's because he was the underdog of the match, like he was. And anytime he would come out on top of the two, the people seemed to be behind him.
Is this, for me, it was a real clear transition. At the June show, people were chanting for Stalin and Hitler instead of him. And to go from that to having the crowd behind you, I guess just goes to show that everybody loves an underdog.
It was like a sympathy play, I guess.
Yeah.
Things for this ended up, Norris got tossed to the outside, and then Plunkett took out Taggart and managed to score the pinfall. So, pretty clean cut, to be honest. Like, there's only so much you can do on a triple threat. You got to get rid of one guy. That's what happened, and then, Plunkett took the win. Taggart now, I guess, 0-2 at Pro Wrestling Revolution.
0-2, and...
He claims he'll get it next time, though, for America. For America!
For America.
That's his deal. Okay, surprisingly early on the card, but I think in the best way possible, before everyone was tired, you get the Heartbreakers taking on Colt Cabana and Cliff Compton. This is third match in, so still pretty early on the card, out of a 7-match card. So it's just kind of right in the middle there, and while it was set up mostly on the posters, it doesn't mean it has to be the main event. In fact, that just entices people possibly to stay and watch the other stuff, so.
Yeah, if this was at this point in the card, what in the world would the main event look like?
Yeah. We were totally unaware of what the main event, how it was going to go down.
It was also interesting that this, I thought, was just going to be another segment because of how the Heartbreakers once again tried to run to the back again, but actually turned to the match whenever Colt and Cliff drug them back into the ring.
Yeah. Well, after throwing him into the ring and them continuing to roll all the way to their side and then try to run out again.
Yes.
It was what you expect. If you've ever seen a Colt Cabana match or a Heartbreakers match, you pretty much know what you're getting. You're getting some funny spots, and you're getting some ass kicking, and then it's Cabana and Compton worked really well together. The Heartbreakers, of course, Liverboy Brock Landers and Voodoo Shaw Stevie P, always working well together. I don't know. Loverboy took a lot more of the comedic heat on this one. But and the funny thing is the crowd, there for a time, were chanting. I mean, that's the thing. The chants were going a lot of the match. And they were kind of split between the two.
Yeah, it was Let's Go Colt, and then just so many different, whatever the Heartbreakers were working off of in the match was how their side of the chant would go, which is always unique whenever a team or a wrestler is able to not necessarily have a standard chant, but instead just feed off of whatever's happening with their in-ring work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was really good, man. I don't think there was anybody in the building that wasn't entertained by that match. I mean, I was taking photos, and usually I get like tunnel vision when I'm doing that. But I found myself like not taking as many photos as I should have been because I was distracted by the fact that I wanted to watch it. So I guess that's good. Yeah. I mean, not for my work ethic, but for them, it's good.
Although chant of the night was definitely in this match when we had the "Move Your Jackets" chant from the.
Oh yeah, with Compton's big skeleton leather coat that he had on the turnbuckle, and people couldn't see what the hell was going on. Yeah. The Heartbreakers ended up pulling out a win on this.
Through a little bit of shenanigans.
Yeah, Stevie had rolled up Colt and had grabbed the ropes for leverage. Meanwhile, Loverboy holding his hands and pulling to further help keep him down. The ref, Mr. Brian Gray, the special guest referee, totally unaware, completely unaware. You would almost say he was just oblivious to the reality going on around him.
Oblivious to the reality, possibly needs a new prescription on his glasses.
Possibly so, but he counted the 3, and the Heartbreakers eked out another victory at Pro Wrestling Revolution, which surely to God puts them in some type of lineup for a future tag team belt situation.
The uncrowned tag team champs of Pro Wrestling Revolution.
Yeah. After that match, they go, Cabana and Compton, they hang out in the ring a while, the people cheer them, they go to the merch table, intermission, everything's good. It comes back with a guy that I really enjoyed the last time I saw him at Pro Wrestling Revolution because he murders people, Cash Flow. This time joined by Billy the P, who is a unique manager, to say the least. Really, they could have just done Cash Flow in the ring for 20 minutes yelling at that woman about her being trash because it was hilarious. She said that he was fat, and it must have just struck him. It must have just struck him right in his heart because he just opened up on her to the fullest.
With no mercy.
No mercy at all. So Billy P gets on the mic, issues the challenge, the $5,000 Cash Flow challenge. You beat Cash Flow, you get $5,000, Well, last time we got to see him murder somebody. and then go up against Alex Angel and beat him with a belt. So this time I was like, well, who we're gonna get? You know, well, surprisingly enough, somebody more cash flow size, legendary Larry D came out and gets in the ring. And Cashflow's like, you idiots, he's not going to wrestle me. We're buddies. He's just out here to hang out. Nope. That wasn't it at all. Larry D took the challenge. Fist for throne. Lots of mass smashing each other into that match, for sure.
Much more offense than we've ever seen on the challenger side so far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cashflow was on the ropes a few times during the match. I mean, both guys roughly the same size, just waylaying each other, you know. And but in the end, you know, right in the middle of the ring, you know, Cashflow takes the win, and the challenge stays, which is fantastic. Like, this is one of my favorite things. Like, this is almost the equivalent of like Cena doing the U.S. Open Challenge. Like, if he gets beat, it's gone. Like,
honestly, this becomes each show more of a selling point for the show itself.
Yeah, because you don't know who he's going to have. Well, like Larry D, who I wasn't even aware was booked for the show. Mm-hmm. And then he, you know, like, that's awesome. Like, they do something like that every time. Like, that's great. I think Pro Wrestling Revolution's got something going there with that, for sure. Billy the P, awesome manager. Not sure if Cashflow necessarily needs him.
Yeah, definitely seen cash flow in June without Billy the P. Mm-hmm. He has the mic skills to be able to do it on his own. With Pro Wrestling Revolution bringing in so many new guys, Billy the P is a great, unique manager that I think some of these new guys could benefit possibly more than whenever he's with Cashflow, because Cashflow's got it on his own.
Yeah. So after that, we have Team IOU, who we saw at the last Pro Wrestling Revolution show, made up of Kerry Awful and Nick Iggy, and they took on the Party Boys, Partio Brothers, Mario Brothers, Party Pizza Guys, a couple of redhead dudes
that were very fond of neon colors.
They were very fond of neon colors, but that wasn't enough. This match was really good. Kerry Awful took it to him most of the match. Mm-hmm. I would say overall he had the most offense for the most amount of time in the match. But it was good. It was a good tag match, good solid tag match. The crowd was into it. The crowd seemed to be more into IOU this time than they were at the Corbin show. They were into him, but it was later in the match. This one, from the get-go, as soon as they came out, the crowd reaction was pretty high, which I feel like maybe some of that is that a lot of that crowd is the crowd that was there for Cabana and Compton, and like they knew them, and they're a little more familiar with their work.
And even just between Corbin and London, just the differences in who was there as far as the crowd.
Yeah. And
so I would definitely have to agree that the crowd was much more behind him this time.
But the Party Brothers or Party Boys, we're sorry we're destroying your tag team name. We just missed it, basically, so we're just guessing. They got a lot of good offense in. Mm-hmm. They managed. They worked well as a team. They worked well as far as isolating Iggy on the outside, and there wasn't a point in the match where I thought they were going to win, but they got their licks in. So
true,
and they appear to be a couple of pretty young guys. So I mean, it's not like this is their last hurrah. They're
It'll be interesting to see if they come back to Pro Wrestling Revolution for the next couple of shows.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that we didn't mention is this is the first time in Pro Wrestling Revolution that I had seen Kerry Awful's new mask.
Oh, yeah, like the half-dog, Batman-ish leather thing. Yeah, he wore that out.
which if you're curious what that looks like, you can definitely check out on the Facebook page.
Yeah, which the start. Yeah, we've got a whole mess of photos. I'm talking like almost 400 photos from the Pro Wrestling Revolution show that I took with my own 2 sexy hands that you can look at. We were talking about it before. Yeah, the mask. Yeah, he wore the mask out because he was going to answer the Cash Flow Challenge. After Clash Show beat Larry D, he was ready to go again. And IOU come out. Kerry Awful was going to take him on. And then they were attacked from behind, and it led into the match. IOU came out on top, and that was that. Then we have Battle Royal.
Battle Royal, winner gets a permanent spot on the Pro Wrestling Revolution roster.
Yes. Battle Royals can be hit and miss. I'm not a huge fan of them myself. But, you know, in the right way, they work. At least there was a good, like, benefit of it. You know, like they had the prize set up and things like that.
The biggest drawback to this one for me is it felt like the competitors came out in waves instead of all being in the ring at the bell.
Yeah, that's true. It'd been better had they done the entrances for not really an entrance for each person, but just play the music, have them all come out, single file or something, and then start it up. Yeah, as soon as a couple guys got in there, they started getting right to it. Mm-hmm. So there was quite a bit of the match gone before all the competitors were in. The big competitors in this, as far as people that you really wanted to watch, were you had Frank Vanover, who did Colt Cabana's Cut My Promo that you can check on YouTube, and it is hilarious. You had ATM, who the crowd knew from
the first Pro Wrestling Revolution show.
Yep, he also does. He used to WCCW a lot. He did some SIWF shows. Like, he's been getting around quite a bit. There were no ass to mouth chants though, like I'd heard in the past. So maybe he's working past that point. We'll see. Of course, you got Nate Cross, who we had saw at the previous Pro Wrestling Revolution show take on John Strange. And then Triple R, Ravishing Ronnie Roberts, who we've talked about in the past with his sweet chest hair R, shaved. Everything on his chest is shaved but the R, which is weird commitment to your craft.
And then we found out that Cash Flow did not indeed completely murder the guy from the last Cash Flow challenge, as he was also in the Battle Royal. He was
making a pretty good showing for himself. There were a number of smaller guys, and I mean the match was back and forth. I mean there was something going on all over. It was everybody could watch a section of the ring and follow quite a bit of stuff. Eventually, Frank, who was obviously like the biggest guy in the match. It took like 4 guys to toss him out. He's outside. ATM tosses a dude outside. I thought he broke his neck, but he didn't, apparently. But it ends up with ATM and Nate Cross. And the referee's on the outside dealing with the fact that he's got a million fights going on outside. So he's not even paying attention to the inside of the ring. Which I think the whole time the ref was on the outside watching. Mm-hmm. But at this time he was not watching. So Cross tosses out ATM. Done and done. Nate Cross wins the Battle Royal, right? No. That's when Russell Ryan Inc. intervenes with Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, who then tosses Nate Cross's ass out the ring, jumps out of the ring. ATM rolls back in about the time the ref looks up. So, ATM, it's then revealed,
is the newest member of Russell Ryan Inc.
Yep. And so he has the contract, so now he's permanently a part of Pro Wrestling Revolution. So now Jordan Cage has some backup in whatever endeavors he may decide to do, which Nate Cross gets back in the ring, naturally to avenge and find out what the fuck happened. And he's met by getting beat down pretty severely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Some pretty sweet tandem moves, if I do remember correctly.
Yeah, he was taken out. Saved, oddly enough, by Ryan Dukey. Come out to the ring. Ran off. Cage and ATM, everybody, get him out of the side of the ring. And apparently that was the main event. Picture Perfect Jordan Cage, Ryan Dukey. Well, Dukey's like, you know what? I don't have to do my entrance. I'm already out here. You're already out here. Take your crap off. Let's get in here and wrestle. Well, it wasn't quite as simple as that, as Cage, postponed and postponed and postponed and, walked around the ring and killed time. But Nate Cross being saved by Dukey, Nate Cross is on the side of the Angels at the moment, I suppose. I guess in the grand scheme of things.
I guess you would have to place him there for now.
Yeah, so, I guess we'll see how that plays out. So, eventually it gets to be Jordan Cage, Ryan Dukey, main event. Dukey repeatedly attacks Cage. He goes to the outside, tries to beg off. It went back there for a while, and then once they finally got in there and really got to it, it got fast. And another time where the ref may have been a little out of his element.
A little out of his element, on top of the number of matches he had worked on all night.
Oh yeah, that was like his 6th match of the night or so, and the thing is, their pin attempts were so quick that there was a couple that but really good stuff. And in the end, Dukey came up short. I didn't really expect that. I kind of thought that he,
Dukey came up short, and the move that put Dukey away from where I was sitting at the merch table, I thought Dukey was dead.
Perhaps he was for a split second. His heart just stopped. That was it. So right now, Russell Ryan Inc. pretty well kind of the top stable, I guess, right now at Present Revolution.
It's
in a way.
As far as power, it'd be right there neck to neck with the Heartbreakers.
Yeah. And especially that Russell Ryan has brought in his new lawyer friend.
Lawyer friend?
To help move things along in his favor. It was a great show. Like, everyone we talked to at the show, we're having a great time. During all the intermissions, we were at the merch table and stuff, and, like, everyone was talking about how good the matches were. The lighting was good. The ring was great. The setup, it was clean. You couldn't ask for a better building.
Great, easy access to all the vendors that were available.
Yeah. It was all around, like, just... it's kind of ridiculous how much we've talked about how good of a show it is.
Yes.
But it's because it was such a good show. Like, there's just not very many negatives. I wish there were. Negatives are way more fun to talk about. I guess the only negative is that it's not monthly.
Yeah, it's not bi-monthly. It's not monthly, it's bi-monthly. There we go.
Sort of.
Words are hard.
Sort of. Now, I think September and October.
September they're off, but then they go October and November.
October, November, okay.
Yep.
All right. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll start doing more of a monthly schedule.
Because October 10th, the poster's out and available, you can see on their Facebook page, for a special guest of Rhino.
That's right. Rhino, VCW, and NXT, and TNA, WWE, and everywhere else fame.
All the places he's been took up like half the poster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the great part is that he's super relevant.
Mm-hmm.
He was on NXT fighting Samoa Joe, like, this week. So... but I definitely want to meet the guy because being such a ECW fan at the time when he was on the show. around their horrible TNN time frame. Yeah, Pro Wrestling Revolution, great show. We can't express enough that if you have a chance to go to one of their shows, whether it be in London or Corbin or wherever they're having one, like, take the time.
Yeah, especially because that October show that we were just talking about going to be back at the London Optimist Club, and so if you're wanting to go to a really nice venue for a show, it's solid.
Yeah. I mean, there's no liquor, and there are no strippers. So, I mean, it's got negatives. It's got obvious negatives. But overall, good stuff. Good stuff. And, yeah, like we say, if you hit up Independent Talent Podcast Facebook page, we have a current photo album cram full of shots that explain what went on way better than we did here, because it is very late and I have a sinus infection and I just don't even give a fuck anymore. So yeah, so let's get into the outro. And that's our show for this week, or week and a half, or however long it is before we record another episode of Independent Talent. But don't worry, whenever there's not an episode of Independent Talent, there's usually an episode of Developmental Talent. You just got to stay on both of them, people. Like, you know, just think of them like your kids. You can't really love... You can love one more than the other, but you can't tell them that. Like, you got to keep it on the down low. So listen to both. We just got on talking about Pro Wrestling Revolution. It was a fantastic show. Well, in the Gimmick Table, you heard us talk about Pro Wrestling Revolution has a fantastic show that's also on WBOZ Channel 9 in London. Well, and you can watch it on your Roku. Well, something came up recently that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We had the chance to do guest commentary on episode 4 of Pro Wrestling Revolution. This show features primarily a match that took place in Corbin, Kentucky, between the Heartbreakers and Team IOU. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. And it wasn't weird because we were at the show when it occurred. Mm-hmm. And then we had to do the commentary. We recorded the commentary. Yeah. And it was a weird experience because we couldn't say fuck. Yep. Or shit, pussy, or damn, or titties, or cum. We couldn't talk about cum in a way other than someone coming to you. Like, we couldn't talk about semen.
Or airmen.
Nothing about buttholes.
No.
No butt stuff. God, what else can we talk about? Nothing about inserting anything into a body orifice.
No.
I mean, for the most part.
We couldn't talk about fellatio.
Nope.
Or sodomy.
Mm-mm. I mean, we alluded to it, but we couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
We did our best.
And let's be honest, we're not that clever, so it was pretty rough for us.
Yeah, it was a tough time. Between being sober and not being able to use profanity.
And the television lights are so bright.
It really cut into what we could do.
Yeah.
But we still think we put out something that was okay for first-timers, I suppose.
I feel like, yeah.
And we'd like to hear what you have to think about it, though. So, how about you get on the website, download it to your Roku, or if you're in London, I guess just leave the channel on and eventually it'll fucking rerun.
I believe it's on Google TV.
Is it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think they have a thing up for it as well.
From Google TV?
Yeah.
I don't even
if
fucking
you
has
that.
Google TV. Ignore Hoagie said that. Nobody has Google TV. But yeah, it's episode 4 of Pro Wrestling Revolution. Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen to it. Send us emails.
It actually is safe for work.
It is safe for work.
It is very safe for work.
Pathetic.
Yeah, it's weird.
Pathetic.
Shit balls.
Makes my dick shrivel up.
Yeah, we had to say that fuck 1,000 times after that. It's like Hail Marys. Only it's like fuck Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like usually when you're, I don't know, it's like we're calling moves.
Yeah.
I just wanted to compare everything to like wrapping barbed wire around your dick. We couldn't. It makes every comparison I have to pain unusable.
Yeah, his thesaurus was like...
It's all dickhole stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's weird as thesaurus.
Everything's urethra related, and whenever I'm talking about violence, I don't know. But it was cool. We were excited to do it.
It actually might have been one of the coolest things I've done, just to be commentating on it. You know, like,
It's pretty
everybody
awesome.
wants to do that.
Yeah.
Apart from being, like, a champion, you know.
For me, it was something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
As a kid, I remember I had my wrestling figures, and I would do commentary for their matches. I actually recorded myself doing it one time.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know...
Was this like a few weeks ago?
It was yesterday.
You caught me.
Yeah.
Well,
like, oh, Brock Lesnar, you can't eat all this meat.
well, you know, it's all well and good, but you know they're not going to invite us to do it again now that we sit and talked about dickholes, right? Like it's done. That ship sailed, son.
Well, I feel like if they've invited us to do it in the first place, they knew we talked about dickholes.
That's true. That means they've listened to the show,
Yeah.
probably.
I don't know if anybody listens to this show. Actually, that's not true. We got some readouts. A lot of people have been listening to this show. A lot.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Yes, we appreciate all the shares and downloads and getting it out there. Even if you're just listening to see if we say your name in some negative way so you can beat us up, it's whatever, man.
Yeah.
As long as you're listening.
Sometimes it's worth getting punched in the face to be, you know, one of the best top-rated podcasts, you know?
We're the best goddamn.
Yeah, goddamn
Mid-South
best.
yeah.
Mid-South, goddamn best wrestling podcast.
But yeah, so anyway, to sum it all up, we did some guest commentary. It was super fucking cool. We totally geeked out over it.
We all wore ties.
We'd like to do it again. We did wear ties.
No, you can see it, but we did.
I used mine in the closet later to choke myself as I masturbated. And a lot of you listened to us talking about choking ourselves and masturbating.
Yeah.
So this is great. It is great that you're doing this.
What a life.
So there you go. That's it for independent talent. Developmental talent will probably be up sometime before this one. So really we're not going to talk about it because we'll be promoting something that's already existed. It's like we're traveling in the future. I don't know. Have a good night. Listen to Cheyenne. She'll tell you stuff about getting a hold of us if you want. I don't know. Check our Facebook, Independent Talent Podcast at facebook.com and .com. I don't know. .com. Anyway, lots of photo albums up. Not of us, so don't be afraid. It's all wrestling. All these shows that we've talked about, SIWF, Pro Wrestling Revolution, Kentucky's Own Wrestling, WCCW, actually not WCCW one. Mm-mm. They have a photographer. He did his job. Yep. But we have a lot of them up. New Origins Wrestling has one.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking at this point probably thousands of photos. So be sure to check them out. See what you're missing, because we describe it shitty. We're just horrible at describing things. So just look at the photos and be like, oh, this looks okay. I'll go to this. And then go to it, because that's what this show's about, getting you to go watch independent wrestling and giving us money. We're not sure how to get the giving us money part to go yet, other than selling you shirts and stickers. But we're figuring it out. Eventually, we're going to clean your wallets, and we're not going to give you anything in return. That day's not come yet, so sleep easy.
This might be the end of the episode, but the beat goes on for Independent Talent Online. Check out news, upcoming events, and massive photo galleries by liking the Independent Talent Podcast Facebook page. Also, feel free to hit us up with your opinions, suggestions, bitching, and moaning by sending emails to independenttalentpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, and for the love of wrestling, please support your local indie federations. Now get moving. We've got to get these chairs stacked and the trailer loaded.